All right. Well, after that long chapter, 4.4, we're finally moving on to 4.5. And 4.4 was all about factoring polynomials. And the question to you guys is, why would we be factoring? Why would we ever factor? The reason why we factor is, here's our solution. To find all real solutions. Okay, and I might even cross out real. To find all solutions. Okay, factoring makes it simpler. That's what we're doing. We're making things simpler to solve. Okay, so let's get into our first example here. We're solving this polynomial. Start here. X minus 3 equals 0. How would we solve that? Solve for x. What we do, we would, well, first we'd add 3 to both sides, right? This is elementary stuff. So x is equal to 3. Next one, how do we solve this? Solve for x. This is a polynomial. Solve for x. Do you just automatically know what it is? No, we're going to solve. Okay, we're going to add 9 to both sides. Get x squared equals 9. And then do what? How do I solve for x when it's x squared? Well, we do the inverse. We do the inverse of squared, which is the square root. And it takes away the square, so we're left with x is equal to, what's the square root of 9? 3. Is positive 3 the only answer there? No, because positive or negative 3 is our answer. If we had negative 3 times negative 3, we would get positive 9. Okay? So what if you got this polynomial, and I said find the zeros, or find the solutions for x? What would you do? And do you just automatically know, oh, x is this and this? No, we have to factor this out. This is a trinomial, so we're just going to break this down into 2 parts. Okay, how do we get x squared? It's x times x. We've been doing this for some time now. We have to find the factors of 4, which are 4 and 1, 2 and 2. And which one of those factors adds to 5? 4 and 1. 4 plus 1. Positive 4, positive 1, and that equals 0. We did this in the first part of Algebra 2. Now we have to solve for x. We break this down into this one. Okay, so we break this down. X plus 4 equals 0. We break this down into 2 equations. X plus 1 equals 0. From here, you guys should be able to solve for x pretty easily. Subtract 4. Subtract 4. So x equals negative 4. And then we subtract 1 from both sides, and x equals negative 1. Negative 4, negative 1. That's what x equals. Now let's kind of combine the two, what we've been doing. 2x cubed minus 12x squared plus 18x equals 0. First thing you guys should always be thinking about is, can we factor anything out? Can we factor out the greatest common factor? Yes, each of these is divisible by 2. So if I were to factor, I'd take that out, I'd take 2. And then they all have at least 1x. So I'm going to take out a 2x. Now what's left? Well, if I took a 2x out of 2x cubed, I'd only have x squared left. If I divided 2 out of 12, I have a 6 left, and that took 1x away, so I have 1x left. Divided 2 out of 18, so we're left with 9. And I took that x away. Okay, so all we're doing is factoring this out first. This 2x comes down with it, 2x. And this turns into 2 binomials. And we have to find the factors of, we know that x times x is going to be x squared. We have to find the factors of 9. 1 times 9, 3 times 3. And which one adds to 6? 3. And these both have to be negative because we have a negative 6, a positive 9. Now, just like our previous problem, we're going to break this down into actually 3 different equations now. Here we have this one, x minus 3 equals 0. We have this one, x minus 3 equals 0. But we also have this one right here, 2x, where 2x is equal to 0. Okay, now solve. Add 3 here, we have x equals 3. Add 3 here, so x equals 3. Okay, so we only need 1 x equals 3, we don't need 2. But over here with this 2x equals 0, how would I solve it? Divide by 2, divide by 2. So we're left with x equals, what's 0 divided by 2? 0. So x equals 0, x equals 3. Okay, let's try this one. Try this one. What should we do? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 different terms. Whenever I see 4 different terms, I'm thinking, let's factor by grouping. Let's group those together. So, factor x cubed minus 2x squared. What can I take out? I can take out an x squared. What's left? An x minus 2. Same thing here. What can I factor out? I can factor out a negative 1. What's left? X minus 2. That's all equal to 0. What I have in my blue is going to be in one parenthesis, so x squared minus 1 times x minus 2 equals 0. Okay. Now, we can do a couple different things. We know that this equation is going to drop down and be x is equal to 2. Okay. There's one solution. This one, with the x squared minus 1, we do have the difference of perfect squares. Okay, so we know that x squared is a perfect square. We know we'll have x minus 1 times x plus 1, okay, equals 0. Break that down into 2 equations, so x equals 1, x equals negative 1. Okay, so x equals 2, 1, or negative 1. The other thing you can do, you can just say x squared minus 1 equals 0, add 1, so x squared equals 1. Take the square root and say that x is equal to positive or negative 1. 2 different ways to do the problem. I really don't care. They both get you the same solution. Don't care which one you use. Okay. I'm seeing 4 different terms here, so I'm thinking let's factor by grouping. I can factor out an x cubed here. And I know that I have an x minus 2 left. Over here I can factor out an x negative x. Yep, negative x. What's left? X minus 2 is going to be equal to 0. So I have x cubed minus x equals 0. And I have x minus 2 equals 0. Okay, so over here I know that x is going to be equal to 2. Over here, in my red marker, I can actually factor out an x still. And I can factor out an x, what's left, an x squared minus 1 equals 0. And now I can break this down into two different equations. I can break this down over here, x equals 0. That's a solution. Okay, I can't forget about that x. Then I also have x squared minus 1 equals 0. So x squared equals 1. X equals positive or negative 1. 4 different solutions there. 2, 1, and negative 1, and 0. Okay, do not forget about the zeros. Okay, next problem. We have z cubed minus z squared minus 12z. Can I factor anything out? Yes, I can factor out a z. What's left? Z squared minus z minus 12, and that equals 0. Let's break down what we have in parentheses here. We know we'll have two binomials. We know that, oh, not x. Not x. Sorry, get in that habit, bad habit. Z times z is z squared. I'm going to bring the z down before I forget. I don't want to forget that z. And then I have to find the factors of 12. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. Which one will give me to 1? We know what 3 and 4 was. And I need to be a negative 4 plus a 3 because I need negative 1. That's all equal to 0. Break it down into 3 equations. We over here can say z is equal to 0. There's one solution. Right here I know that z is equal to negative 3. And right here z is equal to 4. This one. Okay, this one is something you guys haven't seen before, but you can do. Actually, I'm going to rephrase that. You've seen this, but it looks a little weird because it has different exponents. I have a trinomial, 3 parts. What have we done with every other trinomial? We broke it down into two binomials. Okay, the only difference is this 4 here. Okay, well, what makes p to the 4th? P squared times p squared. Okay, what are the factors of 40? Do the same process. 1 times 40, 2 times 20, 4 times 10, 5 times 8. Which one will give me the 14? 4 and 10. 4 and 10. They both have to be negative because we have to get to negative 14. Okay, now we can always check, make sure this is correct here by foiling it up. So just off to the side, I know that p squared times p squared is p to the 4th. I know that p squared minus 10p squared is, or negative 10, p squared times negative 10 is negative 10p squared. Negative 4 times p squared is negative 4p squared. Negative 4 times negative 10 is 40. So I'm going to get p to the 4th minus 14p squared plus 40. Okay, so I know that's correct. Just wanted to check my work. Break this down to two equations. P squared minus 4 equals 0. So P squared equals 4. Take the square root, both sides. P is equal to positive or negative 2. Over here, P squared minus 10 is equal to 0. P squared equals 10. So take the square root of both sides. I know that P is equal to positive or negative square root 10. If you can't take the perfect square root, just leave it in that square root form. Last one. Find the zeros of the function. Okay, don't let it fool you. Instead of f of x, we're just going to turn that to a 0. So 0 is equal to, I see 4 things. I'm going to factor by grouping. I'm going to take out an x squared in that first box. And I know that x minus 5 is left. Over here, we're going to factor out a negative 4. X minus 5 is left. Down here I have 0 is equal to, in my blue marker is 1 parenthesis, so x squared minus 4. And in my red marker is x minus 5. And almost done. Two equations. X squared minus 4 equals 0. X squared equals 4. Take the square root. I know x is equal to positive or negative 2. And then x minus 5 is equal to 0. Add 5. I know x is equal to 5. Okay, 3 different solutions. Positive, negative 2, and then 5. Okay, that's it.